action, but how will all of these cues impact our Indian markets? We have our research team joining in with the trade setup, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the FNO setup as well. First up, Rima is joining in to get us all the market cues that you need to watch out for today. Morning, Rima. It's a truncated week, but plenty of stocks in action. What are you picking up this morning?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be all about individual stocks. But just to give that top-down approach, the GIFT Nifty is suggesting a positive start given the Wall Street rally that we had, where key indices ended up with a gain of close to about 1% after that strong jobs data. Though for the week, we had the Dow losing 2.3% and the S&P lower by nearly 1%. The Treasury yields have also inched higher to 4.41% as Fed rate cut expectations get further pushed behind. It gets delayed further and put on the back burner. But as Steve Leisman was pointing out, more than the jobs data which is out, the street will focus on the March CPI inflation number, and that will be out on Wednesday. For our own markets, last week was a good week. The Nifty ended above 22,500. It hit a record high and it consolidated its gains. It built on that. The Nifty and the Sensex up nearly 1%, but the mid-cap index was up 4%. The small-cap index was up 6%, and that's where the enthusiasm was. A level to watch for our own markets will be about 22,300, which was the intraday low that we hit last week. The big event, will be, only on Friday. TCS starts the earnings season. You've got the inflation print, and the IIP for the month of March will be out on 12th of April. So that's Friday post-market hours around 5:30 p.m. But that's going to be, very critical. The DI, in terms of flows, the DII's net sold 3,370 crore in the cash market on Friday, while the FI's net bought 1,659 crore. But it's all going to be about those individual stocks, and we have so many of them.
And for all those individual stocks, we'll head over to Vamakshi, who will list out all of those names. Vamakshi, how did you manage to shortlist among a huge list?
Well, absolutely. It was a busy weekend for me, but let me first start off with Wipro. We have a news flow coming out here. The CEO, Thierry Delaporte, has resigned. Srini Papalia has been appointed as the MD and CEO of the company in his place. Bandhan Bank is the next stock on our radar. Chandrasekhar Ghosh will be retiring as the MD and CEO of the bank with effect from July 9, 2024. Z Entertainment, the company has initiated process of rationalization of workforce by almost 15% across the company. Vodafone Idea's board has approved issuance of nearly 140 crore shares at 14.87 rupees per share to promoter Aditya Birla Group. They will be investing around 2,750 crores in Vodafone Idea. India Bulls Estate, also in real estate, also in focus. They will be raising up to 3,911 crores via preferential issue of equity shares and convertible warrants. They've also announced acquisition of 4 projects amounting to nearly 1,850 crores in cash. Titan also came out with its Q4 update. Revenue growth of almost 17% is what the company has reported. The company has also added 86 stores in the quarter gone by. Tata Steel reported a good set of numbers. India production was almost up 4.5% on a year-on-year basis, and the company managed to report the highest ever annual crude steel production of 20.8 million tons. Adani Wilmar reported a degrowth of 4% in its revenue, but volumes were up almost 4%, and with that the company has reported highest ever volume growth and continues to gain market share. Godrej Consumer reported consolidated organic sales growth of mid-single digit and volume growth of high single digit, and Chola Investment lastly has reported disbursement growth of 17%, and AUM has managed to grow by almost 35%.
Plenty of stocks to watch out for. Thanks a lot, Vamakshi, for joining in. And lastly, Nigel joining in with cues from the FNO space. Nigel, 300-point range, 20 to 300, 20 to 600. But which way is the trend headed?
Well, the trend seems to be up, Hormuz. You can't fight with the trend. And the Nifty Bank has come back into form, which has definitely helped the Nifty move up. But as you told me on Friday itself, the Nifty small cap index, that's the one that's really bucking the trend. It started off the week in style. The first week of the new fiscal up more than 6%. That's the best week that we had for the small cap index all the way since April 2020. So good going on the small cap index. It continues to remain a stock specific market. What about Friday's trading session? Well, you had a big recovery from the day's low. The Nifty ended more or less flattish, but the Nifty Bank continues to outperform. And it did see fresh long build up as well out there. So longs were added on the Nifty Bank. And for the past week, though on Friday there was fresh long build up, for the week itself, the open interest on the Nifty Bank was down more than 30%, telling you there were actually shots that were getting squeezed on the Nifty Bank. All eyes on the all-time high that we hit in December 2023. That's up for you on the screen, and we're just a few hundred points away from there. And my guess is that maybe we could get there even in today's trading session. And the Nifty Bank, I was talking about it being in fine form, right? Last week it was up close to around 3%, and it has started outperforming the Nifty courtesy HDFC Bank. Well, let's focus on a couple of strikes then. The 22,400 put, the 22,500 call, well, both of them were fairly active in trade. So just punching in those numbers, going by the options data, the 22,300 mark becomes the first support zone, but the firm support comes in at around the 20 DMA. That's your reference point on the downside. On the upside, since you have the 22,500 call that was fairly active, 22,650, that becomes a bit of a resistance zone. How are the FIs positioned? Just as a hygiene, we normally put that up for our viewers on the screen. So they continue to remain net short with close to around 53% of the positions, 57% of the positions on the short side. The stock that I'm looking at today is Bandhan Bank. It's moved into the F&O ban. You have that resignation news that comes in as well. But when it gets into an F&O ban, it gets a little bit tricky. They have a con call at 8 a.m. So I'll keep an eye out on that stock today. Back to you.
Bandhan Bank, indeed, the stock to watch out for, and in the F&O ban, as Nigel was highlighting. But thanks a lot for joining in, Nigel. That was the entire market setup for this morning.